Before we start with the LA fallout from the elections, though, just what, barely over a week, they finally got to the bottom of all that stuff. Good thing, and hey, imagine who won at the end of the day. But in other places that are deeply blue, okay, and also in states that are, at least outside of the blue cities, okay, are actually quite red. Wisconsin, specifically, okay, over the past week, there was a decision that finally came down. The sentencing happened for Darrell Brooks. I talked about this case on and off, and yeah, it happened. I didn't want to listen to the 3 days of witness impact statements, which just mostly come down to, you ran over my granny, and a whole bunch of people crying, and it's like, oh my god, I don't want to hear all that stuff. Just give me, just give me the sentence at the end of the day, and yeah, he's going to be in jail for literally fucking ever, so let's have a dance for that one for a second. Fuck you, you murdering cunt. Hopefully somebody does you the service and cleans out that cot that you won't be needing there. Now you're just going to be a tax burden. He's only like 40-something, so the motherfucker's going to be in there for a long time, theoretically, but Wisconsin jails have a specific way of dealing with certain cretinous inmates. Take a look at what happened to Jeffrey Dahmer. I'm sure lasted in there for his consecutive life sentences. But just like I said, long and short of this is a man who killed 6 at Waukesha Christmas parade, sentenced to multiple life sentences with no release. If he would have just had a public defender or literally anybody presenting his case for him, that would have been on the table in some form or fashion after 20, 30 years, okay, the possibility of parole, but no. Now he's just going to be a prisoner of the state until he fucking dies and gets buried under a cell. For the sake of the Wisconsin taxpayer, hopefully that is sooner rather than later. Get fucked, you sack of shit. Nothing has been wasted with you being locked up outside of taxpayer money. But lots of taxpayer money, and lots more that's going to be wasted out there in California. Rick Caruso launched a bid and had a lot of celebrity endorsements because even they had to admit that, Los Angeles was kind of a shithole. Well, guess what? Brother lost. Wow, imagine that. The race was just called, Thursday, so a few days ago at this point, and yep, just a couple of percentage points, and guess what, man? Another Democrat. This time, don't worry, it'll be different because we got some diversity in the room, and this time, get out of the way, you crusty old white man. Make room for the Black Panther Wakanda Forever replacement. Yes, indeed, you got yourself a strong and empowered black female who ain't gonna listen to none of your cracker ass shit. Karen Bass. Oh, she's gonna come in and make that city just a fucking piece of shit even more so. Take a look at what London Breed is doing up there in San Francisco. I don't have this pulled up. It just came to my mind like a shot in the fucking dark, but they are rolling out universal basic income. Not for just anybody, okay? I know what you're immediately going to think. What, just for women? No. Just for men? Fucks no. Just for black people? Kind of. Getting closer, okay? Just for, what kind of black people? Okay, I'll just go ahead and spoil it for everybody. They're giving $1,200 a month to homeless transgender people. Yeah, that's what's going on out there. Fucking wild. What do you think people are leaving San Francisco and you guys just lost a fucking house seat and was passed a census? You'll love to see it. But don't worry, the people that are remaining continue to vote for those same shitty policies that have been driving people out of your state by the millions. Billionaire developer Rick Caruso spent roughly $100 million in a race for a mayor of Los Angeles, yet lost the Democratic party favorite, Representative Karen Bass. So yeah, there's gonna need to be a replacement because she's apparently a representative for the federal house. I never heard of her before in my life, but Karen Bass, whom he vastly outspent as late ballots were counted. Wow, imagine that. They just found some ballots and all of a sudden Karen Bass is the winner. The insurgent candidate funded his own campaign, especially on ads, yet critics said throughout the race that if he really wanted to help the city, it would have been better to build housing for the homeless with his money. Homeless is a mindset, not an actual situation. Everybody conflates that stupid fucking Will Smith film. What was that? The Pursuit of Happiness. They think that that's your average homeless man. Okay, you go down, you go talk to some of those homeless people out there, and if you can find a coherent sentence out of any one of them, you'll get your answer quickly enough. Most homeless people just want to be fucking homeless, okay? Especially in California. The fucking weather's great, and hell, you even get incentives for being out there, like a stipend for living on the spectrum, I guess. You're living on crack, you're living with a needle in your arm, and hell, now you can just claim you're a fucking unicorn and cash a government check every month. Congratulations, you're doing the Lord's work. Caruso is one of several moderate Democrats to learn what Republicans by now have found out. And when the party activists want to win an election in a big city, they're capable of turning out to make everything all nice and safe and secure and fortified to their best intents. Another Democrat who learned the same lesson was State Senator Bob Hertzberg. All right. Who led the race for county supervisor until West Hollywood Mayor Lindsay Horvath caught up to him and soon surpassed him. In Hertzberg's case, did not matter that Governor Newsom, we'll talk about him very shortly, had endorsed him. Horvath had once tried to ban President Donald Trump from her neighborhood. These are the women that are in charge now. Isn't it so nice that you have so many emotional politicians, just knee-jerk reactions? We don't like Trump. He can never live in my area. I'm sure Trump has real estate in California. I just don't ever think that he's had a residence in Cali. He's pretty much lived in Trump Tower. Now he lives at Mar-a-Lago. Still has Trump Tower. I just don't know if he's got any spots in West Hollywood. I think you're going to be fine there, lady. That's the type of emotionality that you normally don't want in your politicians. You want some more level heads to prevail. But hey, guess what? Gynocentric social order, and you need to empower women and let them fuck up your state. Indeed, like many Republican candidates, you fell short against Democrats around the country. Caruso focused on turning out voters, while Bass's campaign, drawing on loyal party activists, focused on turning out ballots. Yes, of course, make sure to cast your mail-in ballot. Make sure to vote early and vote early. All right. Messaging was also a weakness. While Caruso drew support and interest by focusing on the problems of rising crime and homelessness, like tangible shit. You didn't mention like systemic racism or inequity that's out there. The things that Democrats care about in today's day and age. His plans for dealing with these issues was vague. He promised to hire the best team. Bass's messaging on those issues was even worse. Yeah, but she a black woman. She rarely offered any specifics at all, instead focusing on big ideological issues such as abortion. What? Abortion's a state issue, and your state, thanks to Governor Newsom signing a bill that allows it all the way up until fucking kindergarten, you ain't got nothing to do with any of that stuff. But she reminded voters that Caruso had only recently become a Democrat. Yeah, because that's the only way that you can win an election now in California. You guys fucked your state. But more on Karen Bass. Okay, as of writing right now. Okay, so this article was printed on the 16th, so your mileage may vary, but she was projected by at least NBC News. Bass holds a 7-point lead over Caruso. Yeah, that's unlikely to change or even move all that much. 53 to 46.9%. With her victory, Bass will become the city's first female mayor. That's great. I look forward to many more stories about many more horrific things happening. Are you going to refund the police department? Because that's one of the places of all of the cities that went on that kick during went on that knee during 2020 to defund the police, because that was so fucking smart, not knowing that the middle class and the poor are actually the ones who would be at the biggest disadvantage if you got rid of, public policing, because they're the ones who kind of use it all. But all of the places ended up refunding or overfunding what they initially took away, except for Los Angeles. And, you take a look at all of the horrific stories that come out of that one. Recently, I just did a video of a lady getting jumped in the bushes. And, yeah, that was pretty disgusting, but that happened, yeah, right in an LA county. So hopefully she takes the whole crime thing seriously, and I'm sure she has really good quotes on that. This is a historic moment and a win for all. And Mayor-elect Angelonians. Oh, that makes sense. Okay, so that's what the denizens of Los Angeles are. Okay, never considered. Interesting. Mayor-elect Bass has been a personal friend for decades, and her leadership has been a constant source of inspiration and guidance during my years in office. Outgoing Mayor Eric Garcetti. What a fucking fun guy. What Karen brings to this moment is unparalleled energy and experience. Yeah, that's what you want. Instead of somebody who has a proven track record of being able to, I don't know, fix that shithole of a city that you've created. Or allowed festered. Whatever the fuck you want to call it. Both legislative... Oh, I'm sorry. Energy and experience. Both legislative and lived. Yes, her lived experience is going to help her. Fuck off. From which she will drive the city's next chapter. Yes, drive it right into the ground, or about as well as any woman can drive. But taking an even bigger view of California in general, California projects a $25 billion deficit after a $98 billion surplus. Oh, so during the year where Gavin Newsom was, because that $98 billion surplus was last year. Okay. Everybody thought, it's like, that's a little bit fucked up. That don't make a whole lot of sense. Well, it kind of just looks like he was cooking the books in order to skate by on a recall effort. It's like, no, California's doing great. And it's like, is it really though? Because you guys are like going through rolling blackouts, okay? Meanwhile, just about every other state in the union can keep the fucking lights on. And millions of people are leaving the state. And some of the most wealthy are making that trek to Texas and other places as well. Arizona in particular. But you guys are actually doing better with a smaller tax base. And you were even talking about instituting this whole, if you leave California within the last 10 years, we have the right to tax you, which is wholly unconstitutional. But even still, they tried that, or at least threw that out there. It's like, how is California doing better? Well, if you just make up numbers on a spreadsheet, make anything look good for, in just a short period of time. And now those chickens have come home to roost. And boy, is Gavin excited about more cock at home. The state of California will suffer a $25 billion deficit in 2023-2024, despite enjoying a record-setting $98 billion budget surplus this year, according to new... So that's almost $100 billion. And you were up entering the year, and now you spent at least $125 billion? Wow. That's impressive. According to new analysis of the nonpartisan Legislative Analyst's Office. New projections released Wednesday came just over a week after elections in which Democrats, including Governor Gavin Newsom, were reelected to every statewide office after a year of lavish public spending. Congratulations, guys. You voted for the exact same people that have been fucking you over the past, I was going to say a little while, but decades at this point. Really doing the Lord's work. Legislative Analyst's Office explained that the deficit could be even worse. Oh, great. There's a silver lining to this shit. Or rather, this funnel cloud. It could be even worse if a recession is particularly bad. Oh boy, and it will be. Under our outlook, the legislator would face a budget problems of $25 billion in 23-24. Budget problem, also called the deficit, occurs when the resources of the upcoming fiscal year are insufficient to cover the cost of the currently authorized services. But yeah, don't worry, okay? Like most people that are out there, if you don't have enough money for something that you want, you're shit out of fucking luck. You can't get it unless you extend your credit, and that's retarded for certain consumer things. But if the state wants to do it, they could just write that shit off. Don't worry, somebody else will pay for it later. And by somebody, I mean your great-great-great-grandkids. Because what's the federal debt or the federal deficit? Isn't it over $11 trillion at this point? And Biden wants another $36 billion for Ukraine? Okay. Revenue losses are offset by lower spending in certain areas. Over the subsequent years of the forecast, annual deficits could decline from $17 billion to $8 billion. Oh, good. That's good. Oh, sorry, I missed a little bit. The budget problem is mainly attributable to lower revenue estimates, which are lower than Budget Act projections from 21-22 through 23-24 by $41 billion. $25 billion budget problem in 23-24 is roughly equivalent to the amount of general purpose reserves that the legislature could have available to allocate to general fund programs. All right. While a lower revenue estimates incorporate the risk of recession, they do not reflect a recession scenario based on historical experience, but a recession could occur. Should a recession occur soon? What's going on right now? What are we doing? Revenues could be $30 billion to $50 billion below our revenue outlook in the budget window. So don't worry, shit could get a whole fuck of a lot worse. And you know what Gavin Newsom's going to do? It's stronger taxes. I'm sure he's going to implement some sort of a fucking tax and then somehow find a way to blame Trump. Don't worry, guys. He's going to be running for president in 2024, okay? Especially if any sort of shifty shit happens with Biden, which I totally expect it to. And if he's not running in 2024, oh yeah, you bet your ass he's going to be launching a presidential campaign in 2028. Because if you want to see the Democrats squirm, it's going to be starting very, very soon, especially with this next Congress that comes in, and it's going to be fucking wild. If the GOP can get their shit together, all you need to do is just sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride for the Democrats, because they've been able to paint over a bunch of shit with some crazy fucking nonsense lately. Just campaigning on a bunch of go nowhere issues. But while honest conservatives understand that the bench is pretty deep on the Republican side, and that's why there's some smooth brains that are out there saying, oh, Trump should just step aside for the other candidates that are out there. I'm not going to rehash that argument. But you take a look over on the Democrat side, it's like, who's there? Who? What the fuck are you going to run? If this old cunt in the White House decides to fucking croak, you going to go with Kamala? And the inter-party dynamics between Kamala Harris, Nancy Pelosi, and then just under Nancy Pelosi is Gavin Newsom. Not literally. I wouldn't even wish that on Gavin Newsom. But he's the nephew of Nancy Pelosi. I think that's the way that works. It's very, very funny. But there's a big divide between the Nancy Pelosi side of California and the Kamala Harris, Willie Brown, that side of California. Pick your poison, really. They're both terrible, but there's a lot of friction there between the two. But I think we all know at the end of the day who the establishment side of the Democratic Party is going to side with. Why do you think Nancy Pelosi's still in the fucking backbench right now? She even stepped down. She had the opportunity to step down after she lost her gavel again. At 82 years old, was allowed to keep her seat, okay, and wasn't fucking thrown out on her fat tits. It's because she's kind of the Hillary Clinton surrogate in the Democratic Party right now, who's still elected. Like, let's just call a spade, okay? So she's going to be there to oversee what happens with Biden. This is just my thoughts and theories, knowing a little bit about the inner workings that are out there. So if Biden looks even more shaky in 23 and 24, I would expect a Gavin Newsom to come in and come to sweep in to save the day. Because they were trying so hard to earmark Andrew Cuomo, but he got a little too handsy. It wasn't the fact that he killed a bunch of old people in the fucking old folks' homes by sticking a bunch of COVID patients in there. So they might try to resuscitate him, but outside of that, who else is going to run? Well, we got a late addition to this. A new challenger approaches. Could you fucking imagine? Actually can, because I think that she does have that much fucking hubris about her. She's just an unsightly woman, okay? CNN's Collins to Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. What is the argument for you not running for president? I could think of about a few dozen reasons, but you go ahead and you back old glue gun right here. But what sort of an elaborate scheme is she going to have to concoct in order to get elected for president, okay? Because you know what she had to do the past couple of years. That's like, hey, we could really use some help from the Fed over here. We got a couple of burnouts that we're talking about and not liking the government. Can you, like, run, like, this kind of big op where they would come and, you know, like, kidnap me and shit? Because that would be really cool. Okay, cool, thanks, you can do that. And for some reason, that sympathy or, you know, Detroit ended up electing her to being the governor again. That and Tudor Dixon wasn't that strong of a candidate, because could anybody take that seriously? And now our governor, Tudor Dixon. Fucking oof. But let's just see, because this is funny as fuck. Okay, Caitlin Collins, I guess she's a part of CNN this morning. That's the thing. Why does their set look like just kind of a fucking great value version of The View? It's kind of sad. 3 bitches on the panel too, so that makes sense. Caitlin Collins asked Governor Gretchen Whitmer, oh, big get for your fucking morning show. She couldn't even come in person. How adorable. What is the argument for you not running for president? Collins said, on another note, you've been asked a lot about basically every interview you've done about a 2024 run and running for president. Really? This is the first time I've heard about it, but okay. You said you're not interested in it. I guess my question is to your supporters and yours, and you're someone who doesn't live in Michigan, but is a national and wants to see you run. Who's that? I want to see her run, but for very different reasons than for president. But okay. What is the argument for you not running for president? Whitmer said, I won't put that on. It's late in the recording day. You know, I literally, 8 days ago, guys, she literally, 8 days ago, got elected to a second 4-year term. This is a state I've always called home. I love the state of Michigan. I love the lakes of Michigan. I love having an open bed of water that me and my husband can take our yacht out onto, where everybody else is just trapped inside their homes at my command. It's a lovely state when nobody else is out there. I'm so grateful to be the governor of the state of Michigan. I've got a big task ahead of me. Me. And that's where I'm going to put 100% of my focus for now. I do think that it's flattering that people continue to ask, but I got a big job and I just got hired for 4 more years, and that's where I'm going to stay focused. Whitmer concluded, I'm staying right where I'm at. God, I wish that scheme with the trapdoor was where you were going to be at, but oh well, a boy can dream. California is fucked. Michigan, you got 4 more years of the Wicked Witch of the West. Enjoy continuing to fail, and well, at least big ups for Wisconsin for putting away a detestable piece of shit for the rest of his fucking living life. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.